Greetings, brethren. So, I bet you're wondering how a Crusader was able to defeat a 2,000 rated player at chess. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you. So, I run a stream on TikTok, sometimes YouTube as well, where I play my viewers. And one of my viewers here happened to be rated 2,000. Now, this viewer, he was kind of talking a bit of smack in chat before. As you can see, my rating, it's not so high. It's only 923. I'm a little bit higher than that because as I stream, I play people of higher and lower elos. I just play everybody on stream. So my elo can fluctuate around. It goes up in between about 800 and about 1100, depending on who I play and in what order. So, yeah. I played against this guy. I'm Real Tyler Durden, and he was making fun of us, some of us lower-rated people on chess.com. He was saying, hey, you're only 900. What are you doing streaming in 2025? How could you be doing that? Well, I was able to defeat him, and I'm going to show you how. So, I'm white here, luckily enough. I kind of just default sometimes, especially when I'm streaming, because I play like 20 to 30 games in a single stream, so sometimes my brain can get a little bit overloaded. We played knight to f3 here. This is the ready. I love the ready. King's Indian defense, that's my thing. King's Indian attack, I guess, with white. Of course, place in the center, and just take space. I set up my fianchetto kiddo bishop. This is all standard stuff. I bring my pawn forward with the goal of bringing this pawn forward, castling, and putting my rook on that file. That pawn move comes last, though. I like to put my knight on this file, on that square particularly. And yeah, it's a much more defensive approach. Okay, so he's trying to get rid of my bishop. Sorry, get rid of my knight. So naturally, I'm going to bring this knight over to defend it. Don't worry about these mistake moves. They're not moving the elo bar as much. We're going to keep the elo bar away for this one just because it makes it a little bit more interesting. We'll look at it all at the end, though, so don't you worry. Okay, brings his queen out. Idea. Attack here. Try to trade this bishop because this bishop's going to be like a central part of my whole game plan once I castle, so if he can get rid of it, that's an amazing trade for him. I castle, you know, in inaccuracy, chess.com goes wah, you know. For us non-Magnus Carlsen level players, this will happen quite a bit. Okay, brings his pawn forward to try and attack down this line. Makes total sense. I'm already castled this way. I probably castled a little bit too early, but I'm up 0.5. Doesn't really matter at this level. That's fine. I bring my rook over with the intention of pushing down the middle. Now, it probably wants me to defend a little bit more against this, but right now everything is fine. Brings his knight forward, develops totally fine. There we go. There is my plan in action. And yeah, it wants him to do this. It wants him to attack because my king is over here, but it's still about even. I'm up a little bit, about 1.4 it says. Yeah, I bring this pawn forward because I'm like, hey, okay, trade, bring this out, get this bishop on this file, and just get everything nice and defended there. Yeah, he brings a pawn forward, locks down the center, all nice. I'm just going to trade this and bring this pawn forward with the intention of bringing this bishop out. Now, is that a good idea? Who knows? Because I let this bishop come over here, best move by my opponent, 2,000 rated player. And yeah, pinning this this knight to the rook. I'm like, okay, well, we can't have that, so I'm going to push this pawn forward and try to get that bishop to go backwards, because I think, you know, he's going to go backwards, but no, he's just going to come forward. Another good move, targeting this rook. Obviously, I got to get that out of here. There, now the bishop's on quite an annoying spot, so I'm going to have to get rid of that at some point. Still equal, though. Still about equal. Brings this bishop forward, wants me to trade so that he can just get over here, but, you know, I'm not having any of that. I'm just going to try to get rid of his bishop. He trades, I take with my king. He brings his pawn forward. Best move. Okay, so what I'm thinking here in this situation is he's a pretty good player. He's no stranger to sacrifices. I'm thinking, okay, if I take this, which is the obvious move, I'm thinking he's just going to take with his rook and open up my king, and that's disastrous, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to take it. I'm just going to, if he takes it, I'm going to take it back up the middle. That is the plan. So I take this. It's a miss because, you know, the engine says this is safe to do, but I'm terrified of that because my opponent, 2,000 rated, probably a good attacker. Does this trade, I get my knight out on a cool square there, double defended. Yeah, great move, it says. This looks fine to me. Okay, so now he gets his queen over, and now it's like, oh, okay, this is trouble. So obviously this is the threat, but my knight's defending it, so it's not the end of the world. Either way, I could bring my rook over this way. But not if... Okay, so that's a check, I gotta get out of the way. And he brings this knight to put some more pressure onto here. Okay, so I gotta defend it somehow, because he's putting some pressure onto there. I also got to be worried about this knight putting more pressure on this knight. So I gotta, well, bring this rook forward, at least to try and defend this pawn, because that's the big deal. That is the big deal. Brings the knight forward. Yep. So I probably should have brought another piece forward, like this knight. This queen, but not really, because there's no good squares. This pawn, sneaky from before, is protecting all of those squares. Can't bring my rook forward. Couldn't bring my queen to this square, or this square because of this knight move. And now it's not looking great. So I got to bring my rook all the way over to this square. This is the only square where where it can stay without getting attacked by something, because this knight covers this. I guess he could have gone here, really, but that's a little crazy. Anyway, brings pawn forward. That's a fork, clear fork, right? So I gotta take it. Not great, best move, but at least now I got my queen there, and everything is fine. He's up a single point of material, and that's it. But you know, he's got. I have a knight and a pawn for a rook, basically. So that's not great for my endgame. He castles, so that actually relieves the pressure from this threat over here. So I'm able to do some things like take this pawn back to try and get material equal. Just because if he takes, then I can take back. Because this doesn't need to be defended as much anymore because the queen has that square. Yeah, brings his rook over to try and threaten the queen. I'm just gonna move it over. Yeah, brings his queen out because he realizes he can't do anything over here anymore. He can't get a rook over to the file that easy, so this defends this, so I'm just going to bring my queen over, try to make some threats. I'm not entirely sure. I got about a minute and a half left, so still some good time, but I didn't see a plan forward. I was going to try to trade this queen somehow, whether it was putting him here or something, yeah. Okay, so here, brings his queen over into the middle of everything, threatening a lot of stuff. Well, not threatening this, but if he pushes this pawn, then my knight will have to move, and then he can get that. Engine says, okay, idea is this, and then try to get a checkmate somewhere, so I got to be careful about that. I double up my pieces over here to threaten, who knows if this rook ever decides to move, but also, if this rook comes down here, it might be okay. All right, so he doubles up. I think, hey, I got to trade. I can't trade with this rook because then he's going to check like this, and then that's just game over, right? Because he'll go, I guess not quite game over, but see, I go up here, he goes here, and then I have to go up. Well, up doesn't really matter. It's not good. Anyway, it's not good. So I bring my queen down to try and force this trade, and I get this trade. And yeah, it's not great because material is equal, but he's got a rook, right? And I've got a knight. Knights can't move around that fast. This isn't looking great. I think I've done pretty good against a 2,000 rated player. I didn't get completely destroyed. I'm thinking, hey, this is totally fine. I stood up. Rook on the file, of course. I'm like, hey, bring my knight over so he can't get down. The obvious move here is just to do this because then I got to put my knight somewhere else, and then his rook is going to get in here, and it's going to be ugly. But he doesn't play that move, actually. I think he wants to get his rook over somewhere else. I thought it was game over with that, but he doesn't play it, so I bring this pawn forward to defend that from happening because I'm scared of that. Of course, he can just set this pawn up here, take, and then it's there anyways, but at least I have some time to bring my king over. So takes, okay, goes back there. I'm thinking, well, at least now if he gets his rook here, my knight can defend this pawn, and then my knight's defended by my king. So it's, it's okay. I've got 5 pawns. He only has 3. It's about equal right now. It's an even game. It says 0.1 for black. So definitely this is an end game. I don't know. Rooks are definitely better in end games. So I've got to play very precisely to get this done. And I don't. I move my king forward because I'm like, hey, let's just move our king forward. But to counter his king, I bring this pawn forward. Not entirely sure why. Okay, obviously he's going to go for my weaknesses over here. I'm not going to let him. He's going to go back. I bring my knight over. Yeah, he brings his pawn. I'm just like, okay, let's trade it. Because I'm thinking, hey, if we can get less pawns on the table and I can get 2 pawns and a knight versus just a rook, I'm like, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Equal material, but way stronger for me, in my opinion. I bring this pawn because I'm like, hey, pass pawns. Let's get him going. Here brings his rook back to defend. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to keep these two guys together. I can defend this pawn with this knight. Fantastic. Knight coming in clutch a little bit. Okay, he's going to put his rook here to both defend this, attack this in case anything ever moves. I'm going to move my king over. Just try to get stuff moving. Our kings are now oppositioned. Still a completely drawn game, but people slip up all the time. I'm moving his king back. I'm going to move my king, trying to get my king over to attack some stuff. Maybe I can get my knight to take this. Who knows? Now this is a bad mistake by my opponent. He's going to go for this pawn, but this is going to let me sneak in a little bit over here. Now the engine says I'm plus 3.6, but I got to find the right move, and I don't. I'm like, okay, I'm scared. I don't want him to take that. Yeah. So now it's just about equal. We're running around. My clear game plan is to try and get these pawns up here. Yeah, I bring my knight over because I'm like, hey, I got to reposition. I got to move my stuff over. I'm trying to lock stuff down over here by both, well, being able to defend my my pawn with my knight, but then also if I want to bring my knight up here to block the rook from coming down. Everything's good. If he checks me, I can just move down. Or, yeah, if he checks me, I can move down to protect my knight still. He can take with the king, but then I'm going to try to push my pawns. He goes here. Okay, I guess I don't do that. I'm going to run to the pawns. Because now if this king's over here, I might be able to get in there. He takes that pawn, but I'm going to push my pawn. He's got to go back with the rook. I'm going to take with my pawn, and now this is the game plan. These two guys marching this way. He's going to move his king down to try to get the knight. And, yeah, I've got not a lot of time left. I've got only 4 seconds left. And I'm like, okay, push these forward. I didn't think he was going to bring his king down. And now it's not good. I was up 4.3, and now this is a bad blunder because now he can just take the knight. But it's still not over. It's an equal game, 0.0, and I push this pawn forward. Now the engine doesn't like this. Now the engine says I'm losing, and I don't know. I'm not going to show you why yet. I'll wait until we get this back over. He's able to get his king over. That's why. I'm not entirely sure why yet. I'm thinking, okay, I got 2 pawns. I got opposition of the king, but we can see he brings the king over. I'm here, and he's like, okay, I've got a rook here. I'm thinking, why don't I just promote? Right? Why don't I just promote? The reason why, if I go into my analysis here, is that if I do this, I make a queen, right? He's going to takes back, and then he can get this pawn, and then he wins the race back to my pawn. And then he can just promote his own. So that's why I can't do it. Even in this very commanding position, I can't actually do anything with that. So now I'm like, okay, we get the rook. I'm thinking I just got to go over here. My opponent doesn't see that, though. My opponent doesn't see. He just sees he's got to put his rook over here and then let me take it. Well, not let me take it, but let me promote, and then I take it, and then he gets his pawn. But he doesn't see that, and now I'm able to get these 2 pawns together, and now it's just game over, right? It's because these pawns can protect each other as they go past. He's going to give me some checks. I'm going to just go to the rook so he can't check me anymore. He's going to take the pawn, but now I have my queen, and he can't get it back anyway. And my opponent blunders a fork there, and now I can just clean up this game. Astonishingly, able to make another queen and just do a ladder checkmate against a 2,000 rated player. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I beat a 2,000 rated player on chess.com. We'll whip through the game review very quickly for those of you who want to see it. Okay, so we'll go back to the beginning. That was a 77 move game, pretty crazy. You guys can see the evaluation bar here. We'll just go over it quick. Yeah, all nice and equal up in the beginning. Yeah, brings the queen over for this attack on this square. I'm going to castle. See, he brings his pawn forward. I'm not losing yet. It's okay. It's still equal. It's fine. It's still good. Up the middle, a little bit of a scrum there. It's when I let this bishop in. I'm down 1.5. It's still not the end of the world, though. You have to be really good to be able to take care of those advantages. Yeah, we go for this trade. Still okay. It's when I don't take this pawn back, that's when it's scaring me. Because I'm thinking, okay, here, well, let's see how good that would have been. Because I'm thinking, okay, because if I take this, I'm thinking he's going to sack It's not even a move, so it's probably not good. It thinks it's equal. Okay. It says it's a mistake, but it still thinks it's equal. This is what I was scared of. Like something like this, and then just bring it. Okay, I guess he can't go here because my queen covers the square. I was just really scared about being all open like this because he hasn't even castled yet. He can just, even if he does this trade and then he castles that way, I was scared. My opponent's rated 2,000. I'm terrified. So we will, yeah, we do this trade. I don't take it. And now this pawn here, not good. I'm scared, got to play some defense. Now he's totally winning here if he finds the right moves. He's got to bring this knight over first and then put more pressure on this knight, but doesn't happen. He probably figures this is winning either way, and it is. It's up 2. Tries to barrel on the line here. I go back. Finds the, yeah, in this endgame, equal in material, but of course he's up a rook, and the rook can just do so much better. Now he just finds this move, and it's just over if he finds this move, right? But that's when he didn't, and that's when it became equal again, and that's where this whole game came back into position. Because I was able to do all of this, was able to just barely squeak around everywhere. And yeah, when the endgame's not so clear and you have so much time to think about it, see, good move. Yeah, this here, I was winning here. Why was I winning here? If I played many different things. I guess just this specifically. Because then maybe I can take, or even, yeah, just now I've got this pawn for him to worry about, and he's got to worry about this pawn going forward. I don't see that. I have 5 seconds left. I'm going to, yeah, just try to bring everything up nice and slow. And yeah, there it is. Here it's a blunder from winning, because now it's just a draw. And now I'm actually losing because of the reason I said before, because I can't actually promote these pawns. Because, yeah, I can't promote these pawns. Because if I go like this, if I ever promote one, then he just takes with his rook, I take back, and then he takes this pawn, and then he just wins the race. But he lets me in, and I'm just able to get a queen, the fork, and then I'm able to do a nice little ladder checkmate. So there we go. That is how a Crusader beat a 2,000 rated player on chess.com. Thanks for watching, brethren. Godspeed.